today to look at the session, which is Innovation of Windows at the Confluence of Transparency and Privacy. And I take this opportunity to actually get all my 5 panelists over here. We have a mixed bag of professionals over here. We have architects, we have designers, we have facade consultants, and we have a producer who gives us the end product as well. I'd like to start this with a little note that we did a round of understanding each other on what lens does each one want to play the session on. And I've just written a few notes of what each one felt, what this subject means to them. I'm just going to read that out. So, peepholes to the outside world is a window. Our sensory portals to the experience of nature, which is both visual and tactile. A connection at the threshold of the inside and the out, sometimes defining the edge and at other times blurring our boundaries. It's a journey that has been a remarkable one with evolving materials and explorations that prove technology and human mind can create wonders. So with that, I'd like to just start this session with, we've just seen how the evolution of mankind has happened ever since the ancient times to today. And if we can talk about how the changing face of the buildings in the last 2 centuries in India has been, and what does that actually mean in reference to the climate and the geography that we are in, and how do facades look today? So, who'd like to take that? Mahyar?
Sure. Yeah, okay. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So I think while we delve on that point, it is very important to understand that India as a region, it is extremely diverse within itself. From north to the south and east to the west, we have differing climatic conditions. We have so many different characters of architecture which have over a period of time evolved in responding to the different climatic conditions. Also, it is important to understand that India also differs vastly from the west, from where we generally borrow our technology. So both in terms of technology and in terms of architecture, architects, now again, this is my response as an architect, that we should learn to integrate the two and weave it into the culture, climate, and the varying situations that we design for. So that is the first thing. Second thing, to answer your question, how the facades have evolved. Originally, the facades of the building were part of the structural system. So if you see, every building envelope was also part of the load-bearing walls or whatever. So evolution of arches and evolution of smaller openings to create the connection. Over a period of time, we got into RCC and other technological innovations for construction industry, and thereby creating larger openings. So we started getting bigger openings, bigger facade elements. Then came the steel construction, where we completely disjointed the facade from the building. So now we could do whatever we wanted because there was no structural connection. So it could be a glazed box, it could be a building with completely glass on all sides. And then again, realizing the climatic conditions and the regions that we build in, slowly those glass boxes went back to from a 3D skin of the building, it went back to a 3D facade, where we started creating punctures, started creating overhangs, started using a lot of brise-soleil shading devices, and a lot of it to again bring back the 3-dimensional aspect of the building. So it has been a full cycle. A lot of countries have gone through that cycle. Today, we are still stuck somewhere in between, I would say, but there is a lot of awareness about this topic.
Thanks, Mahyar.
I feel Anand has pointed out the 4 senses. I never thought that. Okay,
that's a beautiful one.
It's a beautiful insight. Okay, we never looked at. I've been practicing facade for almost now 2 decades, but never thought of. But then I would think that should be the baseline for innovation and how we look at the windows and fenestration. Basically, I would say the primary responsibility lies with the architect. Okay, to inculcate those kind of practices within the buildings, and I would feel bringing all 4 senses back to the windows. That could be a very strong point for innovations. And once this thing is actually brought down back to the end user, I think when a user goes to buy a house, he is has more knowledge on the bathroom fittings, he has more knowledge on the tiles, he has everything he has. But eventually when it comes to the windows, there's the last thing he's want to kind of inquire about, or what kind of added benefits he's actually looking into. That's the last thing, because he knows that he's gonna put curtains to it and then he might control. In fact, eventually if I tell you my own house windows, they don't function correctly. Okay, I being a facade consultant still. Okay, I also went.
That's not a good example to give.
No, I'm saying that because see, it's something that how many of us would actually have that knowledge of? Because see, the problem is maybe the industry is not even teaching the end users about the same. That has not been percolated back down to the end user. If the end user is so much informed about these things, I think he would start asking the developers. Developers in turns would be start asking the same to the architects as a requirement. The problem is the whole ecosystem has to be balanced, and it has to be coming from the end user itself. Okay, it should not be more driven on the FSI. It should, like he rightly said, that okay, the ecosystem as such is such that we have been forced to use glass boxes. But then if you want, I think most of the architects are even doing private villas. Okay, there the scenarios are different. So when you're doing a project it is different. Okay, but then I think those 4 senses we should bring back. With the innovation, I think the manufacturers should definitely look into it, and the end users should be taught about it, how they can have those things integrated very well within the window. And the good part is the technology is available. Of all the 4 points that we are talking, we have the technology, we have products which are readily available in the market. But the problem is only the implementation.
What would you say are the other technologies other than the simplicity of sliding and casement that you can adapt for the Indian context? And are you looking at India as a different case in point to actually innovate?
Okay, very complicated question. To be honest, we've been in the market for a few years. We've seen many things. The first time I came to India, I learned one word. I'll say it. I don't know if it's. I hope it's not offensive, but it's jugad. All the time I would go to a project.
It is in the English dictionary, by the way.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, it is.
Okay, didn't know that. So basically, we would. When we were asking about a project, what's the solution that you need, you require? The answers were very vague, so we could understand that the solutions that needed in the market were quite non-well established or non-well fixated to the market. So we start reaching out and try to figure out what the products are. But at the end of the day, I think that the solution is not very difficult, to be honest. You need systems that are certified, meaning that you need answers to all of the aspects. You need to have performance. You need India is in a good way and price-oriented market. It's not bad, but if you stick to the price, then you are locked into a decision between cheap or expensive. But you forget about different aspects, which at the end of the day give you the solution. And this is performance. This is time needed to fabricate. It's also safety, which is very important, and of course quality. And okay, this is in sustainable materials. Performance in all aspects, we discussed about it. It's about air permeability, noise cancellation, water tightness, anti-Bulgari, all the kind different of solutions.
Shutting the senses.
Sorry?
We're shutting the senses.
Yeah, that I got stressed when I heard that. Exactly, but this is the need. Actually, this is what we need. So I don't think there is actually, the solution is always to a new product, but it's how you give answers to that. And this is by using certified systems. And then find the proper fabricators to fabricate and install properly to a building. which all this leads also to safety, which is very, very important. I've witnessed windows 6 meters by 2, very nice, okay, I couldn't open them. This, especially in Europe, this is forbidden, this is not allowed, because of safety. If something happens, a small child needs, my daughter should be able to open the window and go out.
Right.
This is, in order to do that, you need a certified system that gives you all this knowledge, and you know that it will work. And at the end of the day, this shouldn't be very expensive. So solutions, many, but I don't think this is the only focus. I mean, for example, now, actually in 2 days, we are launching a new product, which is a magnetic window. We will be gliding, so there is no friction at all. Okay, sorry? You just push it and it moves. It glides. Okay, this is a very nice technology, but at the end of the day, is this what we need? Okay, it's nice to have, because you can have a 6 meters window which will just move like that, but I believe the answer is in a more simple questions, to be honest. I don't know if I answered correctly.
My next question to all of you all would be that the way we are seeing our changing skylines, and Pulin, for you especially, when you are seeing it from the inside out, a window is as experienced from the inside as much as it is from the outside. And when you are given your sights as a designer, and you have very different scenarios, whether in Bombay or any other city in the country, how does that constant, which is something given to you, add or deter some aspects of design for you?
So it's been a big transition since many years now. The whole glazing system has changed, the window design has changed. So when we as designers look from the inside, so primarily there are pretty large buildings where, you know, the windows are not opening and you see the grid and all. So it becomes very tacky for a person to see the outside of the space, you know, especially where a lot of members come in, a lot of steel structures come in. So now what I feel is we are going back to old school where balcony decks are coming in, large windows are coming in, glazing is dying off per se for residential towers, because that is what the demand is from all the clients, where they need fresh air, they need decks. After COVID happened, it's a big transformation, you know. I mean, thanks to COVID, I would say that the old school has come back, you know. The spaces have gone bigger, and the whole technology part has just changed suddenly. I mean, I know they are designing pretty tall towers, residential towers. They've gone back to old school, where 20 years back when Mr. Talati used to do balconies, bigger decks. So I think nature also is contributing to everything, where as a designer also he's learning from things. And I think every 15, 20 years, everything is changing, you know, by way of experience. Say maybe after 15 years something new will come in, a pandemic, something is just teaching you every day. One thing I would like to talk about the system, what is going on right now. Currently, I think a designer or an architect should put his foot down with a developer. This is not just about looks, because a developer wants the looks, you know, by glazing and all. So if an architect, like I see in Europe, I mean, a designer has a say in everything. Unlike here, is very different. So when we look at the inside of the house house may be, you know, if it's a duplex or a triple or a single floor, what I think is the systems what an architect designs, I mean, he should be primarily given the full free hand to do whatever they want, keeping what he mentioned was the nature coming in, the wind factor, the air and everything. Yeah.
Where do we draw as professionals when lifestyles are changing so much for the end user and the demands are changing so much? Where do we draw our inspirations from? And where do we draw that line that this is this is okay for today's moment and for the number of years that somebody occupies that space? And how do we preempt the future to make sure that, it is timeless? If anyone would like to take this, Anand, would you like to take this?
See, I think we are too short-sighted. We've been in the current state of so-called modern architecture for the last couple of hundred of years. The air has been there for millennia, the sky has been there for millennia. So I think these are all transient phases in our so-called understanding of how nature functions, how built environments are supposed to function. There is too much reliance these days on technologies. There are two clear, very, very disturbing indicators of the way we all are evolving these days. We are all withdrawing ourselves into tiny things, right? Mm-hmm. We are trying to cut ourselves off from everything that we do not have control over. We're becoming control freaks, right? For us, it's better to look at the great outdoors from the screen of a phone than to actually go outdoors and see the outdoors. So I think technology is an enabler. Technology is a facilitator. Technology is not design. As architects, as early as possible in our careers, we get a sense of technology is a slave and not a master, not the guiding principle of what we do for our clients, better for ourselves. That's one. I'll give you one very, very small example. We're doing a lot of very large format condominium buildings all over the country. And quite a few of these are green, and we are proud to be part of the green building movement. Mm-hmm. Right. Now, imagine green building norms clearly say that if there is an air-conditioned environment, there also is supposed to be mechanically ventilated fresh air intake into the building. Okay? Now, what does this mean? That if I, as a developer, choose to give centrally air-conditioned apartments, and while I'm also doing windows, I'm also supposed to be drawing in mechanical ventilation fresh air into the building. Go figure. Now, why would I have windows if I can't open them? So this is one clear case, and I think there is a cue here for my colleague Nick here, that probably the people who are driving the ventilation industry are exerting more influence on the way green building movement is going than window manufacturers are, and there is a cue for you. So I think, as coming back to one previous question that you had, what do you tell our clients? How many real estate brochures have you seen which show you what does the outdoor look like from inside? All real estate brochures have facades, beautiful facades, elevation this, elevation that, elevation. Hardly anybody talks about bahar ka andar se kaisa dikhta hai, nobody is following. So I think the entire perspective has to change. The way world is visible from inside is as important, if not more important, than how the indoors look from outside. So I think technology should be given its proper share and no more.
Well put, technology shouldn't be your slave. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.